I was born August 30th, 1935 in Conshohocken, Pennsylvania. And we lived in a house on West 4th Avenue. My mother did not want me named after her, which was Alice Elizabeth. And her mother said, "Oh, we gotta name her after you, Al." So my mother said, "I'll take Betty from Elizabeth and I'll call her Betty." So a couple years later, a cartoon came on that was pretty famous in the movies, and it was called Betty Boop. And it wasn't long before I was answering to Betty Boop, and when I grew older, they shortened it and just called me, "Hey, Booper." And it was very hard when I would go shopping at the King of Prussia Mall at Gimbel's and be going up the escalator and hear an uncle holler, "Hey, Booper, what are you doing here?" I just kept walking. I didn't want anybody to know who I was. The first house that I remember was on Harry Street. I think it was 75 Harry Street that we lived. And we were evicted from that house because a lot of times my father was out of work, so we didn't even have the rent to pay her. So she wanted us out of there, but my dad had found a rental up on East 10th Avenue. So we had a lot of fun, just the family. But then, you know, the older we got, the more we traveled. A block here, a block there, and made friends. And the next thing you know, everybody was coming to our house because my mother was very generous. And even in school, we would bring kids home from school to play. So
your place was the hangout place.
Oh, let's go to Smith's. They'll have food. So Uncle Beanie, sometimes he would work for the funeral home. So this one time, the undertaker said, "Beanie, want to give me a hand? Some of my boys aren't here, and I've got to go pick up, someone died over in Wisconsin." And he said, "I'll give you $20, and that was a lot of money then. So Beanie went with him, and it was one of these tall, narrow homes that had spiral staircases. So Uncle Beanie and the undertaker go up, and the undertaker says, "This is going to be rough." He said, "We've got to carry him down." So the undertaker says, "I'll go first because I'm used to it." And he said, "You come behind me carrying him under the shoulders very slowly." So they started down the spiral steps, and Mr. Moore dropped the legs. And when he did, my uncle still had the dead man under his arms, but he farted so loud.
The dead man?
The dead man left a terrible fart. And Beanie let him go, and he rolled down the steps and knocked the undertaker over. And the undertaker stood up and said, "Why the hell did you do that, Beanie?" And he said, "Listen, if he's alive enough to fart like that, he's alive enough to walk down those steps." And that's a true story. It really is.
Oh, that's a classic.
In high school, I met my husband-to-be. He was from Cunnytown, they called it, near Allen Wood Steel Plant. And in 10th grade, I was in 11th. I liked younger men. Should I leave that in there?
Perfect.
And so we started dating, and dating, and he went into the Marines, and he went to Paris Island, and from there he was sent to Marine Corps camp in Edenton, North Carolina. Then he would hitchhike from North Carolina to Conshohocken,
Wow.
maybe once a month. So,
To come and see you.
and there were then 13 of us living in the house.
So do you remember when he asked you to marry him, or?
I think I sent a letter to him and had included a lot of newspaper ads with rings, diamond rings in it. I seriously did that.
Very subtle.
I tried to be, but you know, it worked. It worked. And now we're married 62 years, so I guess it was okay.
I'll be standing in the garden, just think of what we're starting. I've been waiting for this day all my life. You'll be dressed up in your finest, you'll see beauty at its brightest. We'll have all we ever needed and more, and it feels like a wedding day, feels like a wedding day, and it feels like a wedding day. Come and take me away, come and take me away, come and take me away.
I have 2 grandchildren, Matthew, Aaron Wilson, his name is, and Christopher John Wilson. And they're quite grown, doing well in the world with jobs and what have you, and just the best grandchildren in the world. So,
Did you have fun with them when they were growing up?
Oh,
Did you
my-
spend a lot of time together?
yes, because their mother, my daughter Donna, worked very hard, and I babysat a lot, like it was such a chore.
You could be larger than life, bigger than the world, living out the hopes and dreams of every boy and every girl. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You can have all you ever wanted. Larger, bigger, hopes and dreams, every boy. You could fly higher than the sky, shine brighter than the stars. You could have all you ever wanted. You know you could.
Matthew and Chris, you've been a pleasure to have in my life. I'm going to cry.
Me too.
And I hope I'm around for a long time.
You will be. If we have anything to do with it.
What's your story? What's your plan? Where you going to? Where do you stand? this moment. Take a chance. Feel the light shine down. Live your life out now. You can dance. Hear the laughter in the air. Let your voice be heard. If you dare, take the high road to your dreams. Let the world see how life could be right now. Come with me. One step towards the edge. What will happen next? Every moment tells the story of our lives. What would happen if we tried? Could we spread our wings and learn to fly? And together we could see that the world is ours. We can shine like stars. We can dream. Oh. We can dream. Yeah. We can dream. Oh. We can dream.
I've had a very good life, and I hope I have a lot more of it.